a viewer in the bonus content.
We are live, so we're about to find out. If we get a
Perfect.
viewer in the bonus
If we
content, we're
get a
gonna
viewer in the bonus
we're
content,
gonna pull them onto
if
the
they can
show.
record,
I
we'll
don't,
pull
I
them
don't
up.
want to do that either. That's weird.
That's
Anybody
weird.
could show up.
Yep.
Oh,
Top chat.
It's like Greg Miller could be in there. Fuck him.
He could, and that's terrifying.
Yep.
He turned 35 yesterday. That means he's like
He's old as fuck. That's
he's
what it
ready to
means.
murder.
Yeah. He's ready to midlife crisis. He's only living to 70. You know that.
I feel like he's got at least 5 more years before his midlife crisis.
Hey, man. Oh, I thought he was like 5 more years until he dies. And I was like, dang, I was pretty
No.
optimistic with the 35.
Oh, damn. Hey, everybody, welcome to bonus content. We didn't do bonus content last week.
Nope.
It's me, Scott, and Tony. No option this week. He's a very sleepy boy.
So sleepy.
He is here where he's at where I was yesterday tonight. That's why we're recording on Saturday. I was fucking. When I got home, I slept until I had to get up for work this morning.
Hell
at
yeah.
9 a.m. And I didn't set an alarm because I was like, I should be able to get up before then. I should have set an alarm. Didn't expect myself to sleep for 14 hours and still be tired, but after I was up for a while, I warmed up to it though. I'm glad we didn't record yesterday though, because I felt terrible. It's one of those things like where you're so tired you feel sick.
Mm-hmm.
But you haven't been on a while. We didn't do bonus content last week, Tony. So I want to know what's up. What's up in life, man?
Wait, I was on last week.
Yeah, but you weren't. There was no bonus content last week.
I mean, the bonus
No, like,
content is
off
basically
topic.
just the time before the show where I take off my pants.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm not wearing pants under this blanket.
hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I've been working a lot. My position and company both changed in the past couple weeks.
Oh, snap.
So now I'm getting paid more money to do better work for a company that is more interesting to me. It's not like it's more of like a locally owned smaller business with 9 employees that work kind of in the same space as me, but I then oversee 18 to 35 employees myself. Basically, like depending on the day. So yeah, I basically switched from working in retail to working in an office setting full time. So that's been cool. It's been an adjustment, but like a pretty easy adjustment in my opinion. Like it's not too difficult to to go into an office and sit at a desk for 8 hours a day. So
yeah. So is it like a different job altogether? Or?
Yeah. I left my previous company to take this job.
Seemed like the pressure from the previous spot was like a little too extreme.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, first of all, I don't like working in retail. Second of all, I hated working a job where like I would have to split the time between being on top of all of these like administrative duties and then at the same time be like in front of people doing retail, and like being there for everyone else. Like it's just like it's just not my thing. And plus, like I hate working a job where I have to be like up on my feet for like 8 hours a day.
Yeah,
it's just like fuck that. Like.
I'm there are parts of it that I don't like as someone who does work a sort of retail job. But yeah, I don't know, like if I wasn't up on my feet at work, I would never be up on my feet. So
sure.
I'm a little appreciative of it for that, but I totally understand.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like I enjoyed, and I think the biggest thing that I like about this is moving from a mega, super big company that is owned by a company that then owns 3 more super really big companies and having to deal with their whole bullshit to a company that is locally owned by 2 people, and the actual owners of the business are in working with me every day. So I think the feel is completely different. I think it's a lot more casual, but we still get an excellent quality of work done. So yeah, it's been really good. Like I've actually like, where in previous jobs I've like, except for like especially my last job, I hated going and being at work all day. This job I like being there and I like getting the work done. So I think that my quality of life has drastically increased.
That's great.
So yeah, and along with that, like they're actually scheduling me full time. Instead of like, hey, you're working 23 hours this week. It's like, hey, you're working 40 hours this week every week and for the next 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So that's great. It basically just means that instead of just barely being able to scrape by, by making the amount of money that I can make, but not making it for as many hours as I should, I can make all of the money that I would normally make by working 40 hours every week consistently. So I'm able to plan and budget around that, and just generally be able to, like I said, increase that quality of life. So it's been a really good change for me.
Yeah. That's good. I'm glad, man.
And that whole adjustment and everything is kind of what kept me off of the podcast for a couple weeks, kind of adjusting to all that. So, though I have Fridays and Saturdays off every week for the foreseeable future. So nice. Podcasting. That's what I do.
Cameron Abbott in the chat says office settings are better than retail. Fight me.
This is so true.
I've never worked in an office. I don't know.
It's great, dude. On Thursdays we get lunch. So
like an office lunch.
Yeah, I just continue working and lunch shows up at my desk.
That's pretty cool. What do you get?
Yeah, retail out of all environments, service industry has the lowest.
Yeah,
I would
the
say
lowest standard of workspace.
Yeah, I would say like restaurant is the bottom rung, and then retail's like
right fast
above
food
it.
Restaurant is the bottom rung.
Oh, true. Yeah, like fast food and like regular restaurants definitely a delineation, and then retail's like right above that.
Yeah, because like even I want to say even factory type work, or we'll go ahead and lump in jobs like construction, yard working in with that type of work.
Yeah,
it's better.
Yeah, I feel like,
outside is still better.
Yeah, like I would say like there have been so many like industries that have, or like late labor laws or unions that have come up to kind of like make those jobs progressively better and better, and then retail is still just a fucking nightmare, like service and retail, and people just scream and yell at you as an employee for really no good reason pretty consistently. Bryce Mills in our chat also says, or seems to disagree that office is better than retail, but I don't know. He also wants to know, do you guys wear pink on Wednesdays?
I mean, I could.
Nope.
I don't know. There's not a super strict dress code either. It's just kind of like show up and don't wear flip-flops and sweatpants,
Yeah, that's usually a good call.
Yeah, so like I could wear a pink shirt if I wanted to. So to answer your question, I will go out and buy a pink shirt and wear it on Wednesday.
Nice. What do you usually get for Thursday lunches?
So it kind of depends. Somewhere from like we just choose a local restaurant, and order from there.
You get sushi ever?
No, because I can't.
Oh, like pizza. What are we talking, like pizza?
I mean, like so here. So basically, like we could get sushi, but I would not be able to eat it.
Oh, true. I keep forgetting the whole fish thing.
Yeah. Sorry. So, but everyone else could. I would just have to
get California roll,
the chicken katsu or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is definitely a possibility. We could get sushi. We could, but like I don't know. Like this last week, I had lunch from a restaurant near here called Timbuktu, which I was expecting Indian food, but it was actually just like an American like cheesesteak kind of place. That was pretty good. It was decent. It was just okay, but like the fries were pretty good. But only because they had like this tight gravy that goes on top, And then the week after that, or the week before that, we got, where did we go? I don't remember. We got food and it was good.
Do you guys have like a casual Friday?
I don't work Fridays, so I don't know.
Okay. They didn't tell you like on Tuesday, like, oh, by the way, it's casual Friday, and you're like, yeah, fuck you.
No. I think every day is kind of casual Friday though. Yeah.
Cool.
Because I'm not entitled. I don't have to like wear a suit to work, so yeah, it's nice.
Man, wearing a suit to work just sounds like a nightmare.
I mean, I still might one day just be like, I just felt like showing up.
Yeah. I would see. Here's my thing about like dressing up. Like, I wish dress shoes had better arch support. But maybe you can just get some Scholl's in there, get some Dr. Scholl's.
Yeah, there you go. Just like stand on that thing in the store awkwardly and have it prescribe a gel to you, and you're like, oh well, thanks. I probably could have figured this out without standing on your weird contraption.
Is there like a weird Dr. Scholl's contraption?
Oh yeah, I don't know if it's specifically for Dr. Scholl's, but like I know that if you go into some supermarkets or like some shoe stores or whatever, there's these machines that you stand on it and measures like the pressure points of your feet to prescribe you the best, not a prescription, but to tell you which like insert is the best one for your feet. I know that's a thing. I've seen them. So. All
right, that sounds nice.
Yeah.
Anything else you've been getting up to over the last few years?
Really, it's just been that, and like I do that, and then I come home and I play video games.
What about anime.
Oh yeah, I could. Yes, I did do a lot of anime, and I could talk about anime, but you really don't want me to.
I'm just curious. Have you watched any My Hero Academia season 3?
I haven't. I want to, but like I said, I've been reading it, so I'm way past that anyway. Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of like I always like I'll start an anime and then I'll start reading it because the anime is too slow to come out for me, and then it's just kind of weird for me to have like immediately go back and watch it again because it's like I just watched this or I just read this. Though I did start doing that recently with Shokugeki no Soma, which is the Food Wars anime.
Oh, got it.
Yeah. I started watching that in season 1, read all of it up to date, and I've been keeping up to date with it. And then recently, with a friend, started rewatching it, and that's been really cool. Just because I'm like a year and a half removed from when I was watching that the first time, so it's kind of neat to revisit that whole thing again.
Would I like Food Wars?
Yes.
Except for like the weird like orgasms.
Right? No, that's why you'd like it.
Oh, that's the on-brand part.
But like other than that being part of it, it's a genuinely good show.
So. Yeah, I mean, I love food, and it's
also that show's make you want to cook the stuff in it. So
it's also got like that kind of competitive like shonen anime like aspect to it.
Yeah,
so, it seems cool.
Yeah,
yeah. I just when you were off for a couple weeks, I did like binge the end of season 2 of My Hero Academia. I haven't watched any of season 3 yet. I will get on that at some point. It's only 2 episodes, so it's not like a huge deal. I guess the 3rd episode is tonight.
Yeah. Since like I think the last time we talked about anime, all of the shows except for one from last season have finished. Except for one of them. So like everything from last season is over. Like Overlord 2 is over. The one that I was talking about Shogi is over. So all of those were really good. I thought the endings to a lot of them were really good.
Was Overlord 2 as good as the first season?
I think that kind of depends. If the main reason why you liked season 1 of Overlord is because of how much you liked the main character, and you were less interested in the people around him, then you will not get very much out of Overlord season 2 because it focuses almost entirely on everyone else.
Yeah, the ensemble.
Right. And I don't know. I thought it was good, even though I kind of am that kind of person where like, especially if it's more of a like in main character of questionable, I don't want to say like a questionable origin, but like a person who is not necessarily always on the side of good, you know. That is a more interesting character to me. So I think that Ainz is a really cool character because while as he got teleported into this world or whatever happened to him, he lost his humanity. So he's trying to cope with like him being undead and not giving a fuck.
Yeah.
And then he kind of goes through with that and becomes fucking rad. So kind of like it'd be kind of like watching the first half of Death Note and then it focusing on some random ass person who in the background instead of the main character. It'd be like, why would I watch this now? Okay. But season 2 surprised me with like some pretty deep storytelling and a lot of interesting stuff that goes on with those characters and makes you like them. Even the new characters that they introduced that you're like, I was not super interested in this character in the first place. And then they started talking about these characters who are interacting with this character that I wasn't super interested in. Why do I care? I think that the show does a really good job of making you care about those characters. And then obviously, eventually, since they're all humans and the main character in his whole entire thing is not, and he doesn't give a fuck about humanity for the most part. He kind of still does, but not really. There'll be conflict. And I think that that's also handled really well for the people who, are interested in both sides. So,
okay, cool.
Yeah, Overlord 2, I think was really good. Probably one of the top 2 from last season. The other one being Darling in the Franxx, which is still ongoing. It's about halfway through now. I believe there's 24 episodes, and we're about 12 or 13 episodes through. That one's every episode feels like a movie, and it's fantastic.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's definitely worth giving a look. Even if you're not super into mecha anime, I think it's very different than normal mecha anime would be. So I wouldn't be scared off by that. So yeah, it's cool. I don't know. Maybe be scared off if you're afraid of like a mecha being controlled by a girl's butt because that happens.
You know, like it's not in my top 3 fears, but it might be something I end up being afraid of.
Yeah, yeah.
Or it could be like one of those things I didn't know I had a fetish for, and then realized.
Yeah, it's weird because like the sequence. You know how like in Gundam, right? Like there's a sequence of them in the robot, especially in G Gundam, where like their whole body gets covered by like this film, and there's a whole big thing of coming in contact with your Gundam. And in Darling in the Franxx, instead it's a Franxx, which is the Gundam, basically has to be controlled by basically has to be controlled by a male and a female. The females are basically becoming part of the robot, and then the males are controlling them. So they kind of like straddle this seat, kind of like if they were riding a motorcycle inside of it. And then there are these 2 giant like control pads that come out of their butt cheeks, and that's what the males hold on to. And then they link together, and when they link their minds together, lights light up on the back of the girl's spine from her butt up to the back of her head. And then they sync together and they can control it. So yeah, it's I know that makes it sound super weird, but
I mean, it initially sounded super weird. I don't think it made it sound any more or less weird.
Okay, so. Fair enough. Still weird, but yeah, I think that there's some weird stuff in there like that, but in there that ties into a couple of the themes earlier on. That kind of play through the second half of this first season. But the second half kind of more focuses on the world as a whole and the situation that the characters find themselves in. And it's super neat.
Cool.
And Jarrett says that he is currently face fucking a bowl of pho.
A bowl of what?
Pho.
Oh, yeah. I thought like you cut off, and I was like, oh my god, what is he face fucking?
No worry, dude. Just some soup.
Did he specifically use those words?
Yeah, I read it verbatim.
Okay, fucking Jared out here.
Yeah. So, but anyway, yeah, that's kind of what's been going on with me.
Sky, you been getting up to any shenanigans?
Not particularly.
What are you doing day to day, Sky? You just like hanging out, playing some PC games, going to work?
It's go to work, go to school, do homework.
And then sleep, maybe?
Probably.
Okay. Have I told you about this great thing called video games?
No.
No. We don't do a podcast about it.
But yeah, nothing all that interesting is happening at work or at school. So.
Do you watch any anime?
No.
Okay. Good. We only have room.
That's where you're fucking up.
Man, I'll say, Tony, the midterm exams.
Go on.
My Hero Academia.
They're
fucking good.
Yeah, man.
That was real good. I didn't expect that. The thing is, like, I had like 6 episodes left. I'm like, I bet nothing real big happens in these last 6 episodes, but no, it was like fucking bonkers.
Yeah, that show is real good.
That show is really good. It's just like, it is so. It feels like it is so hard for anime to pace itself well from the outside looking in. Like, so many shows have so much trouble with it. But that show does a really great job.
I agree.
As for me, I said it earlier. We didn't record last night. It was my call. I apologize to everyone. I was very tired. I got 3 hours of sleep the previous night. And I came home and I slept for like 14 hours.
Hell yeah.
But I went and saw Avengers Infinity War. You know the Avengers movie, superhero movie? I'm not going to spoil anything. Don't worry, listeners, viewers. I liked it a lot. I thought I would go so far as to say it was excellent, I would say.
Good.
And Jacob Bryant, friend of the show, my big elm tree, him and I are going to go spoil that on this YouTube channel tomorrow.
Hell yeah.
We don't normally do movie stuff, but it's enough of an event for a lot of folks that I'd like to talk about it. And I want to talk to Jacob about it. I want to pick his brain. I think Roger Corney and Barrett Courtney will be joining us. Should be fun. So yeah, if you're a Marvel fan, look out for that. But yeah, it was very good. I like it. Might be my favorite of the 3 Avengers movies, personally. But we'll see. As for that, outside of that, I'm just trying to think. You know, I didn't do anything bonkers like go get a 4K TV or anything this week. So, just hang out. I did some spring cleaning. My setup down here is all nice and clean. It's weird, like, you know, you take for granted vacuuming. I'll say this.
Yeah.
And then when you do it, you're like, man, it just seems like so much nicer in here.
Mm-hmm.
It went a long way. But yeah, outside of that, I mean, I put up all my amiibo. They're all staring at me right now. Morgana's with them. It's like a nice little family.
All right, there you go.
So yeah, I don't know, it's just been a whole lot of working with the writer folks to get some stuff done, and recorded the third episode of or the second episode of Get Acquainted on Wednesday. I'll talk about that on the show. So yeah, it was a good week. You guys want to start a real podcast?
Yeah.
Tony,
Probably.
do you need to get a glass of water or anything?
I'm set.
Sweet. I barely had any of mine, so I'm ready to go. You guys ready to start recording?
Mm-hmm. This is my shit. All the girls. Anyway.
Cameron is upset that I didn't pick him for the Avengers spoiler cast, and I'm sorry, Cameron. I still love you. They were just people that reached out via text message for the most part. All right, on one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
No need to be upsetty. There's plenty of spaghetti.
It's spaghetti. Cameron says not upset. I just said I see. That's a good panel. Okay. Hey, man. I'm out here looking for you. Looking for you. Looking at you.
Yeah, man.
Thinking of your feelings. To be fair, Cameron, Scott did say we were going to try and pull someone from the chat into this show, so he was about to grab you.
Yeah.
But Cameron, I know that motherfucker would spoil God of War for me, so I'm not going to let him do that. Motherfucker. He would.
Fucking bitch.
Okay, I love you, Kim. All right, let's let me make sure this is plugged in actually. Right, this. Trying to get be prepared ahead of time instead of not like I usually am. Okay, that's good. All right. It is Saturday, April 28th, 2018, and you are listening to the Irrational Passions podcast, and I am your host, Alex O'Neill. Joining me this week, we have Scott Guthier.
Hello.
And Tony Horvath.
I tried really hard for the past 8 seconds to figure out some cool thing to do because Nobshin isn't here to fill in for him, but this is all I could come up with. I know it's not very good.
This nice little explanation of
why I'm a failure.
That's good. I'll take it. We got a good show lineup. It's just the three of us. Brian, Nobshin, and Jackson. Our fourth host is not here tonight. He's a very sleepy boy. He's at home sleeping, I assume. He had a very long day at work. He's like, I fell asleep waiting for the show to start, so I'm gonna go to bed now. And hopefully he rests well. But we got a good show. It's gonna be fun. It's the three of us. Tony's got a club banger to talk about, is what I was told. You were telling me a little bit about it before the pre-show, and I'm excited to hear about it. And I got God of War to talk about. It's gonna be a good show. Real quick, let's open up with some housekeeping. A few things went up on the website, IrrationalPassions.com, this last week. First up, I'll say if you are a Marvel fan, there's going to be a Avengers Infinity War spoiler cast on YouTube tomorrow, Sunday. So if it's Tuesday when you're listening to the show that's come out, it happened a couple days ago, you can go check it out. And if you're watching live, like you can typically Friday, youtube.com/RationalPassions. You can go check that out. Jacob Bryant's friend of the show will be joining me and some other folks. So go give that a listen if you're a fan of them Marvel Avengers movies. Outside of that, some things went up on the website. Swords of Ditto review went up. It is a 2D Zelda-like roguelike. Reviewed by Mike Burgess. It was our first on-embargo video review. I was very excited about it. I think you would dig this game, Scott. It's published by the Devolver folks who do a lot of really cool indie games. It's got some it's more of a roguelite, it seems like. It's got some more persistence, like your character levels persist and all that. You can read all about it on IrrationalPod.com. You watch the video review. Mike liked it quite a bit. Quentin Hoffman, his next issue of Place and Purpose is up. It's about desert golfing. It's very good. You should read it. George Cruz reviewed The Shredded Isle, which is I'm trying to think, like, the words he described it with. It's like a cult simulator where you have to, like, make sacrifices to your god to make the gods happy and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. And it's a very different take on, like, the Oregon Trail style game of, like, simulating making these big decisions and whatnot. New input is out where they talk about fucking David Cage out there doing all of his David Cage-like things. And Jarrett wrote a very, very good feature about Kratos, who is the protagonist of God of War, if you were unfamiliar. And just Daddy Kratos' feelings about stuff. And you should go read it because it's phenomenal. It is absolutely phenomenal. It's basically the kind of transition of Kratos as a stand-in for Greek mythology and its violence, and what it's like transitioning that character from Greek to Norse mythology, and kind of thematically how that feels really appropriate with Kratos' personal redemption.
Cool.
It's very good. I would highly recommend it. I liked it a lot when I was editing it. So outside of that, there's some other stuff going up. There will be a new episode of Get Acquainted, my other show, up on Monday. It should be up by then. So you should go check that out. I sat down and talked with Roger Bacorny, good friend of the show, good friend of mine. We talked about video editing and creating and what it's like to transition into, like, kind of creating content casually into kind of creating content professionally. And he talked about, like, he's editing a documentary for Kind of Funny. And, like, I asked him, like, straight up, like, hey, what's it like to start doing all of this that you're doing because you want to work for Kind of Funny and then working for Kind of Funny. Mm-hmm. It was a really good conversation. It's very fun. It's much more laid back and casual. But I think we definitely touch on some more serious things. So if you liked that first episode, I think you will like the second. So go check that out. You can subscribe to that on iTunes and everything, which you should, including subscribing to this podcast and whatnot. So that's it. That's about all the housekeeping I got for you. There's gonna be more stuff going up on the website. You should really just check irrationalpassions.com regularly.
Oh yeah,
that's my recommendation. Let's talk about some fucking video games.
Okay.
I wanna know about the Darwin Project.
Yeah, man, this game. I don't know. I don't think there's a "the" in front of it, though. I think it's just Darwin Project.
Darwin Project.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a game that I believe was not free to play for a while, and then they switched it to a free to play game, and basically everyone who had bought it before got converted to basically having a founder's pack of cosmetics or whatever. So anyway, it's free to play on Steam now, and the entire idea of this game is basically a different take on the battle royale Hunger Games style that, like, PUBG, Fortnite, all that kind of stuff has been successful doing. Instead, it's a 10-player free-for-all or 10-player in duos free-for-all where you are spawned into a map, and a variety of things can happen. The idea and how you win is to be the last man or team standing at the end. Okay. Eliminate all other people. The thing that kind of makes it a little different is that it does, like, the game, like, show kind of stuff that Hunger Games does, where you have supporters or whatever that can help you or hurt you. And all of this is kind of done through the 11th player playing in the match, who takes on the role of the director. The director basically is he can fly around the map, he can spectate your point of view, etc., etc. And his goal is to make it fun, right? So he can either help you, hurt you. He has a variety of powers that can interact with the game. So the game is separated into a bunch of different sections of the map. He has the ability to close off those sections, do a variety of other things. He can heal you. He can give you heat back because the game is set in a snowy environment, and if your heat meter gets too low, you start taking damage. and then it can kill you. So it kind of forces you to, as the player, run around, scavenge for materials to build arrows, build upgrades, make sure you have wood to make a fire if your heat gets too low, and kind of play out the game that way. There are also objectives that spawn that can be seen by everyone on the map that you want to try and collect before anyone else to unlock kind of more powerful upgrades for your character.
What does like the interface for that look like? Are you just looking at a map for the most part? Can you switch to player perspective?
So as the you mean as like the director?
Yes.
So as the director, you fly around the map. You're basically it's first person as if you were a camera that can fly around.
Okay.
But you can also choose to directly spectate what a character's camera is doing. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of how that works out.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
How much like? I guess it's tough to balance that, right? Like you don't want to have too much power, but like how much power do you feel like you have?
Yeah. So basically, the director starts with a deck, and it's right now it's in early access, so there's not a lot there yet. There's enough there, but I believe the way that it's set up leads me to believe that the developers intend to add more options, and then have you be able to kind of like build a deck of things to do. So right now, like the powers that you have are you can refill a player's heat meter twice. You can heal a player, give a player a speed boost. And then a bunch of other more powerful things, like you can nuke a section of the map. You can put one of those objectives on the map twice. You can, and a couple other things. But the idea is you can use each one of those things once. Once you use that card, it's gone. So you would probably want to put like a variety of like interesting powers to use on the map, or rather in your deck, and then use them as you go through the game. So I don't know, like what I do, like when I play as the directors, I will just like I'll go around, just kind of observe what people are doing. In a game that I was a director for, like before the podcast, there was a team of players who was just kind of like skirting along the edges of the zones, staying as far away from people as they could, and just standing next to a fire basically the whole time. And so to kind of encourage them to go near to other players, first I tried to talk to them. I just went to them and I was like, "Hey guys, I'm going to give you this thing to do. I'll reward you if you can do it for me." They kind of ignored me, so I continued to, to like kind of like give other players nudges to make these guys engage with the game more. And since they just kind of stayed doing their thing, eventually got to a point where all of the places near them were all blocked off, except for like one direction to go where the other teams were. So I sent a nuclear missile at the zone they were in to force them to leave that zone and move into the next one.
So missile were kind of like the red zones in PUBG or something like that, where you kind of get a heads up for it.
So yeah, basically like the nuclear missile in specific, you choose a zone and then you have 40 seconds, and then the nuke hits the center of the zone and kind of radiates out radiation from the middle. And if you get caught in that radiation, you instantly die. And then it goes away. Then that's kind of, because since it can instantly kill you, it's a little bit different than any of the other ones, where the other ones, the other power where you just turn off a zone, it restricts that zone after a minute. And then if you're standing in that restricted area, it's kind of like the fog in PUBG or the storm in Fortnite, where you basically you are trying to where rather when you're standing outside the zone, you lose your heat meter really quickly, and once you get there, you start taking environmental damage once it gets too low. So it kind of forces you to play inside the zone, basically. So the areas get smaller, and the players playing, they can gather resources, kill each other, and eventually just try and be the last man standing. And it's really neat. They're pretty quick, 15-minute or less games. To kind of dive in, dive out, and have a good time. And I think like the director kind of has a big hand in making it fun or not, because of so much of the game's mechanics can be influenced by that. So like I was playing with the people who I played Black Desert Online on the private server with, since it's free, a bunch of us downloaded it. So there's we just have one player, everyone in comms play as the director. And so I basically, the first time I ever played director, I just put one of the big objectives right in the center of the map. And it was like, hey, first person to get this can choose who I put a manhunt on and when later. Manhunt is one of the two really strong powers. Basically, it reveals one player to the entire rest of the game for 2 minutes, and if someone kills that player, they get a really good reward.
Cool.
So
like a bounty.
Yeah, exactly. It spawns like a really good chest of items for them to maybe win the rest of the game with. So it kind of like forced them to interact with that objective, force a lot like an early confrontation, and just make it fun. So yeah, it's a super neat idea that I think once that you kind of need to give a look at before you understand really like the appeal of it, in my opinion, which is I think why it wasn't very successful while you had to pay for it. But now that I've played it, like I would have bought it when before I wouldn't have. Like I would have been like, whatever. But now that I've seen it and played it, like I would have bought it before. So
yeah, just like looking at it, I was watching some video of it while you were talking about it. It looks pretty polished for early access too. Like it looks graphically really good. It runs really smooth. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's cool. Like they're pitching it kind of like as part survival as well. Does it feel like? Are there like meters? Is there like a food?
Yeah,
meter?
so that's kind of what I was getting at. It's like it is pitched as survival because there's like I said, the entire game takes place in a giant blizzard, basically, and you are constantly draining a heat meter.
Yeah.
So basically, as you're playing, your heat meter goes down, and then you need to put a fire down or drink a consumable to fill that heat meter back up. And stuff like fires, when you put it down, the smoke is really easy to see. So you have to kind of manage that, and the only way to make a fire is to spend wood, which you also need in order to craft any of your arrows for your bow and arrow. As I kind of talked a lot about the director, but as the player, like I said, you're trying to collect materials in order to build everything because you start with an axe. That's it. You're not crafting different weapons, but you start with an axe and a bow and arrow, but no arrows. So you need to chop down a tree for each arrow that you want. And you need to go and like gather leather in order to upgrade your armor or your cloak, which gives you cold resistance and stuff like that. So you have to make fires and stuff less. It's neat. It definitely keeps you, active in the game and looking for a way to, to further yourself towards winning the entire time you're playing for that 15-minute span. So yeah, it's super neat. Cool. I've been having a good time with it.
Yeah, I like the sound of it too. It's $15 on Xbox One.
Oh, is it on Xbox too?
Yeah, I mean,
cool.
I think there must have been some kind of deal there, because if folks listening might remember this game was kind of introduced with some weird impromptu shoutcasting situation during a Microsoft press conference at E3.
Yeah.
As the director, can you shoutcast and have all the other players?
Okay, so there is a lot of like Twitch integration and Mixer integration in there.
Yeah.
That leads me to believe that yes, you absolutely could. Like, how I was saying, like I can choose a zone to block off. I also have the option of letting my Twitch viewers choose which option to block off. And at the beginning of every game, there's a vote that goes on in every player's Twitch chat who's currently connected to the game or Mixer, whichever you're linked to. And you can vote for who you think is going to win the game, and whoever gets the most votes becomes, like the crowd favorite. I don't know what happens there because right now the games that I played, no one is playing on Twitch, so no one's ever voting.
Really?
For that.
Okay.
Yeah, so it just kind of chooses someone randomly, but since no one actually voted, it doesn't seem like there's any benefit to it. But yeah, so it is designed in a way where that is definitely feasible.
That's cool. Do you think 10 players is enough players in the game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the map is not PUBG big. It's very small.
It's small.
Okay. What do you think, Scott?
Big enough for 10 players. I haven't played it yet, but so far it looks good.
Okay, cool.
It looks much better than how they demoed it. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, objectively, that was a pretty bad demo, but yeah, I mean, I think like getting that idea across is like even just that is way more interesting than like I don't know. I feel like that's not a game you can just like show without context. I feel like there's a little bit more context.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That sounds cool. I while you're talking, I had it set to download the trial of it to my Xbox.
Cool.
Give it a shot. Just get an idea what it feels like there as well. I'm sure it'll be a little bit different, maybe a little bit less polished, but
I don't know. Yeah, I honestly don't know. But yeah, it's been really neat. That's kind of been what's sucking up most of my time for the past day and a half.
Sure. What else have you been playing, Tony?
So League of Legends.
Jesus Christ.
I know.
Deep
I'm
cut,
sorry.
huh?
Sorry.
No, I mean, like, listen. You live your best life. You do what you want to do. What kind of League of Legends are we talking here? Are we talking about that Dominion mode, that domination mode?
What do you mean? No one plays that.
Like the capture the point mode. Does anybody play that though?
I don't know. Scott may have the answer to that. I don't.
Like 30 million people play League of Legends, right? Like somebody's got to be
I'm
playing
sure,
it.
yeah. But for me, no, I started playing like just normal games with friends, and then I was bored.
Did you make a Smurf account?
What's that?
Did you make a Smurf account? You start
No.
like a new leveling system?
Nope.
Okay.
I just played on my account again, and I don't know, just started playing, and then I was like, I'm bored. I'm just gonna start doing ranked games. So then I did all my ranked placement matches, and it was fine, I guess.
How'd you rank? Did you do good?
I did. No, I did pretty bad. I mean, like I played okay. I think that I definitely have played much better in the past. But you know, obviously, I didn't play for like 3 years, so you know, whatever.
Okay.
So
yeah, not to mention his ranking is so ubiquitously low because he hasn't played ranked in so long. I am surprised if he got anything higher than Bronze 5.
Yeah,
because that is just what that is. If you have not played before, the highest, like if essentially this is your first time ranked, the highest that you can place, winning all 10 games, is the middle of silver.
Okay.
And the only thing that counts is if you win or lose.
Would you say I want to know who's like the new mid person, like I don't know, the solo mid guy, lady? Zed?
Yeah, he's a ninja.
He make ninjas, or does he make beats?
Well, Zed is he's
Ariana Grande songs.
Artist. Yeah.
You never finished your question.
That's what he's asking, right? What's the best?
Who's like the solo mid? What do they call the range people that do the most damage?
Carry,
yeah.
Technically, they changed the name of AD carries, which are the bottom lane, like shut people with a gun, basically, to marksman, because carry was too much of a like this person. Oh man, worship this person. You know, yeah, because like I don't know, whatever.
They get all the kill shots, right? That's why.
Yeah, exactly.
So
really, the idea behind it.
There's like 20 people you can take mid.
Yeah, there's a lot.
You want to know who does the most damage?
Fortune.
Pretty sure
she's bottom lane still, but yeah. So anyway, they changed the name of the bottom lane one to marksman, which who cares? Everyone still calls them AD carries.
Is it still like solo mid? Like if there's two people in mid, what the fuck are you doing? Or is there sometimes
100%.
The game. So they changed the game in the past couple years to where like you choose which role you want to play and then you play it.
Back in my day, League of Legends.
Yeah, they didn't do that.
So you pick a role, or do you pick a character?
You pick a role. So like there are a couple. You jungler, support, AD carry, mid, and top. And that's basically like that's the meta, like the best combination of players that's kind of been the thing for League and Dota for forever.
Yeah, because like to explain it this way, it's not even Dota is different.
Yeah.
It was very similar through even fucking Heroes of New Earth that we played.
Yeah,
you didn't take two people mid ever, period.
Okay.
If you were doubling up a lane, you were doubling up top or bottom.
Okay.
And the reason that is because mid is the closest between the two towers.
The two towers. Okay, now we're
right. If you send
territory, I understand.
Sorry. The mid is between the two bases. Mid is the closest point.
Got it. Yeah,
right?
yeah. No, I understand.
And it's the closest that you'll be from tower to tower. When you are alone in a different lane, it is 10 times easier to gank you onto that turret because they have so much space to do it.
Now, see, back in my day, in my junior League of Legends days,
we all remember when Alex O'Neil played Garen once.
Shout out to Garen, though. He's my dude. No, back in my day, when I would play, and to be fair, I was playing like very low bullshit games. Like no one cared about what I thought.
Sure.
There was never a jungler and there was never a support.
Yeah, now there is always that. Like,
okay,
it's set up so that you always get those in every game.
Because I think about like it's not a fair comparison, but I think of like an Overwatch game, like where like if I didn't have like someone who can distract somebody like a Tracer or a Genji, or someone that could support, like it'd be a fucking nightmare, right? Like I just think back to when I played League of Legends. Like,
it was a pretty different game, and it could work back then.
Okay.
Because the reason why it could work is because you died 10 times quicker.
Okay.
Then, like for reference, and for some, and most characters died 10 times quicker. Some of the tankier characters, it was almost impossible to take them down.
Yeah.
Like for reference, that was when Tarek still had his aura shield. That was a toggle. It was a toggle heal.
Yeah.
And what you would do with him is you would just take a mid to out level everybody, and you pick up a frozen mallet and Madrid's blood razor. Oh man, I still remember that name.
It's a fucking nerd ass name.
Uh, yeah, and there was virtually nothing anybody could do about it. They had to stun lock you to death. But because your regen was healed you more than Mundo's ult, it was too hard to do.
Okay.
And you had an extreme passive tankiness.
Mhm.
Hell yeah.
And it gave you AP and AD buffs.
Here's the thing, man. I'm gonna let you know, I don't talk about this much with you guys, and I should really just kind of get it out, air out my grievances. I'm still pissed I never taught myself how to jungle. I can never be a jungler, and I made so many jokes about bush tactics. And I never knew.
It's not that hard.
I know. Like, I'm sure it's not. Like, I feel like I am much more competent at understanding games with like layers of mechanics in multiplayer realms now.
Alex just like trying to stealth tell us that he wants to play League.
Yeah, dude, let's fucking boot it out. The three of us, let's go back in. No, I couldn't handle y'all yelling at me fucking playing League of Legends again.
So here's the thing, like I kind of mellowed out on League, dude. Like I don't care.
Well, I mean, like now you have.
Well, it's like everybody
else
like,
took it way too seriously.
Yeah, seriously, dude. People do. It's so annoying.
Yeah, dude.
And I'm just in there fucking shooting people, and like people are like, why does everyone suck? Like my lane sucks, the game sucks, even if we're winning, and they're just like, this game is awful, I'm triggered, I'm tilted, and everything. I'm just like, guys, we're having fun here.
Dude, play with Greg once. No one got angry at that game than Greg Blaney. I feel like, and I'm not talking shit here, like whatever, you have your game that you care about. I just like, that's just how I felt. It's very angry.
This is so angry. Why?
Yeah, no, I mean, that was the thing. Like when I had like that one good week with League of Legends and I played way too much of it, like I never really got too angry about it.
It's only frustrating when somebody is, or it's only like frustrating to the point of anger when somebody's intentionally trying to fuck you.
Yeah. Like if somebody's like really trolling you and it's just, come on.
More or less, hey, you've got a blitzcrank in your lane? Oh, you're almost dead. Let's pull the carry into you. Let's pull the assassin Z into you.
The funniest kind of like not MOBA joke that I've ever heard. There's a D&D podcast I listen to. It's called The Adventure Zone.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they're playing a different game than D&D now, but in one of their adventures, they were fighting a crab, a giant robotic, or like I guess not robotic crab. It's still undecided. It's an imaginary world, so who knows? They were fighting a giant crab monster, and somebody showed up and just smoked it before they could finish it. And the dad on the show was like, "Am I still gonna get experience for that?" And the DM was like, "Nah, she KS'd you, bro."
Damn.
And it's still just the fucking funniest thing. I don't know. Let's get into bush tactics together. And no, I'm not gonna play League.
All right, new series on YouTube for Rational Passions, teaching Alex to know how to jungle.
Teach me how to jungle. Quote in parentheses Dougie. No, I don't think we should do that. I feel like there would be merit to that. Maybe we can do it down the line someday. Yeah. I feel like that could be fun, but not right now.
Fair enough. But yeah, it's on. I've been playing League.
Yeah, how's it? I mean, it seems like it's treating you fine.
It's fine. Yeah, I'm gonna play less of it now that I'm gonna play this Darwin Project game though. So.
Yeah, Darwin Project seems cool. Anything else you've been playing?
I'm basically quit BDO.
Really?
Yeah.
Finally?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Like, I started playing on the private server, and when I started, they're like, "Hey, we're gonna add Node Wars and stuff soon," which is why I play the game for PvP. And then they still haven't added it, so I'm just not playing until they add it.
Okay.
So,
did you ever hit maximum level?
There is no maximum level in that game.
I know, but like
technically, they capped it at 66, which Scott understands is an absurd number. But I mean,
you can't do that.
like the Korean dude, or actually it's a girl who no lifes the shit out of this game and only ever grinds for level is only level 64 or 63.
Damn.
So
like a 3 full levels off.
Well, the cap is only on the private server. Technically, you can get to level 100.
Jeez, fuck. That just sounds like y'all have gone into explicit detail on how leveling is. What's the where it becomes diminishing returns? Is it like 56 or something?
It's not diminishing returns. It's just that it scales too hard. Like
the scaling is
it scales multiplicatively per level instead of additively like it normally would. So it's like the amount of experience that it takes to get from.
Okay, so to give you an example,
okay,
in order to hit level 66, you have to grind for about 8,000 hours.
All right. To be fair, Tony had like 4,000 hours in that game or something.
Steam says 7,000, but that's not active hours, and that's mostly like just overnight time. You'd have to like actively grind for 8,000.
Steam says 7,000 hours.
Yeah, and then that doesn't count all the time on the private server. But actually, let me look at Steam because I got it here. Black Desert Online.
That's 291 days.
Yeah,
the game. You just leave the game up. That's how it works.
I know, but still, you would leave the game up for almost a full year.
I mean, I've been playing for almost a full year.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Have you ever quit that game?
No.
Close the application.
I mean, yeah, when it goes down every week.
We're gonna update my computer.
No, not even for that. I update my computer when the servers go down.
There you go. Okay. Finally, some answers. Yeah. Anything else you've been playing, Tony?
So I downloaded this dumb mobile game called Craft Warriors. It sucks. Don't download it except for Scott. Then I want you to suffer with me. Don't download that. It's pretty bad. Except it's basically Clash of Clans. Except the characters are all. It's like Minecraft looking. It's like voxel art, and you can download characters. So all my characters in my clan look like Diva. So that's all right. It's pretty good. Right. Yeah, it's pretty all right. So that's going on, and then it's not a game, but I also have been listening to a D&D podcast. It's called Critical Role.
Or you talked about it.
Yeah, I talked about it. I started listening to season 2 this week.
Nice.
And it's good. Matt Mercer, man.
He's great, man.
I love that boy.
Yeah. Did you ever hear the Game Grumps talk about Matt Mercer?
No.
No, Dan has like a huge crush on him, and one time when he had the chance to meet him, because he's friends with Aaron, he had the chance to meet him. He totally like didn't meet him, and he's still really embarrassed and sad about it.
Oh, damn.
Scott, video games. What you been playing, man?
All right. So I was playing some League with Tony.
Okay,
that was fun.
Was it fun?
It was all right.
yeah. The games we had were pretty bad.
Okay. There we go. That's
well, no.
Now that we're talking about League of Legends again, I have a thing that I did want to mention, that just like a question to you as a not League player.
Yeah.
Like, okay, as a non-player of League, right? Like,
sure.
They have this weird obsession with edgy female characters with a dark past.
Ooh.
I mean seriously, like a solid 85% of all female champions have this edgy dark past, and it's all
turn on.
And every recent character is one of them. Yeah. So I'm just curious, like, is that a thing? Yeah, is that a thing that is that more appealing to you than a character with like a not edgy dark past?
I don't know. Like, I've never been like a huge I got a thing for female characters with dark past. I think there are some really good ones.
Listen, teenage drama boy.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying, dude. Like,
no, but like the majority of teenage dramas that I watch, some have female protagonists, but a lot of them are like really broody male protagonists.
Yeah.
Basically Sword Art Online is a teenage drama.
Because, like, to give you an example, I don't know this 100%. Like, I haven't read the lore for these two characters, but the two characters that I've been playing, the most recent character to be released and the one from before that, I think, is one who and I know this is wrong, but it appears to me as if she's of this faction called like the Void, where she survived something that happened to them and got bonded with this weird ass armor, like skin bodysuit that adapts to her combat style. And now she's on a mission to save the planet that they're on because the Void consumed her old one. Mm-hmm. And then this other character from before that, she is a part of a pair with this other guy, their boyfriend and girlfriend, and it's very obvious. The game is almost pushing that directly.
Not into that. I can tell you that up front.
It's like, like if they play together, they're a support and an AD carry, so the bottom lane pairing. And if they play together, they just talk to each other. They're like, "I got you, honey," and stuff like that the whole time. But anyway, so the backstory of the girl character is that she, I don't know, something about her weird race because they got like bird feet or something, and she got to save the source of their power or some shit. So I don't know, it's weird ass edgy backstories. Then they're all of them have it. It's just weird. It's a weird trend that I've noticed. So I don't know, League of Legends, they're doing something. And Alex is dead.
I'm cool with that. Time to go play the Rival Project.
No. We'll wait for Alex.
Sorry about that.
Welcome
Google
back.
Hangouts, you know, it's
there
always,
we go.
It's always a fight.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the League of Legends website, and it's got like a list of the most recent champions in order. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of what you're talking about here, Tony. We got Kaisa.
That's the one I was just talking about.
Yeah, the daughter of the Void
with the skin suit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she got a nice skin suit though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to.
That's the one that I play most now.
We got Zoe. She looks all happy-go-lucky.
Oh yeah, she's one of the ones who's not like that. But
Okay.
she's so ridiculously complicated to play. It's not even fair.
Yeah, and then Evelyn, very much like that though.
She's very old, just reworked.
She looks brooding as fuck though.
Yeah.
And then I see the couple you were talking about, Zaya,
and
Rakan.
Rakan, yeah.
Yeah, tomato. There's Camille just below that, the most recent female character after that, and she looks brooding.
Yeah, dude. The degree to which they put those two characters together in the game, like if Zaya and Rakan are on the same team in the same game, they always are directly next to each other in the right order on the loading screen, where they see have like the champions, like their pictures in order or whatever. They're always next to each other, and it's always Zaya before Rakan because like their pictures go together. They're a set.
Yeah.
And they have matching skins and stuff too. It's they went ham. They went in on that idea.
Yeah, it's too much for me. We want to talk about brooding female characters. I like loners who, that you can kind of like open up. They'll open up to you.
You just want to fix someone, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just a fucking mess. No, I don't know, man. I don't know. Look at the characters. A lot of them seem broody, not just the lady characters. But, here's the things I've noticed about League of Legends over the last few years. As I've not been playing it. It's just like the string of advertisements I see for League is like the most aggressive I think I've ever seen. Like on YouTube, I feel like I can't go 20 minutes of watching videos without seeing some League of Legends ad about a League of Legends YouTuber in a high-pitched voice telling me why I should play League of Legends.
Oh, really?
Man.
Well, I mean, I think that's more to do with them being the only advertisers on YouTube.
Yeah. True. But like I'll see fucking car ads and then it's just like, here's my 4th League of Legends ad for the day, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't see that. Like I've definitely like since I started, I talked about it the other day where I was like, I looked at Maxnomic chairs and then I got ads for like 3 days about Maxnomic. I'm not getting them as much anymore. I do still get the banner ads on the side of websites, no more like on my YouTube videos. Now it's I don't remember. I keep getting it's been very topical recently. I just want to know like why Google is so much in my life just recently, because before they weren't.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Oh, that's because they got it to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was broken. They fixed it. And now,
no. Sorry. No, you played into it. In other words, they got it to work. So now they're trying.
Yeah, gotcha. You bought into it.
I guess the biggest thing for me is like they keep serving me ads for things that I've already purchased.
Yeah.
So they're failing.
Maybe YouTube knows I quit League and it's like trying to get me back in.
Maybe.
I mean, do you want to play around it too?
No, I'm like good. Like I'd much rather like play Overwatch or something.
I'm never playing that game again.
Listen, I get it. Your weird hatred of Overwatch.
It's not weird.
I love that game. It
See,
have
that's
doesn't have to be for everyone. I feel like that's not weird. A lot of people like Overwatch.
Nonsense.
What about Hearthstone, Tony?
I know, never again.
Never again. Yeah. So there it is.
No, like I honestly, here's what I did with like maybe one more time. And the reason why I say that is because I adapted the strategy with Hearthstone, where as soon as they started rotating cards out, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get with the cards that I have now, I'm gonna wait a while until there's an interesting new meta that I want to be a part of, and I'll come in and disenchant a ton of cards that I can't use anymore and make it one meta deck and play it for the season. And that will work for a solid 3 or 4 times, and then I will have, because it's diminishing returns on disenchanting stuff, have to buy more things. At the point where I need to buy something, I'm out. So I'm just basically at that point where I'm just going through, and I have enough stuff left where I could do that one more time, where I could go in and disenchant everything and then be able to make like 1 or 2 really good decks to play that season for a while. Though, like, I don't know if I care at this point. So I don't know. Like I think Hearthstone was fun for a while. I think that I disagree with a lot of the stuff that they did with it, and mostly just like making it, first of all, making a collectible card game where you can't, you have no feasible way to make gains without dipping more, pouring more money into the system, and to having to disenchant stuff in order to make that happen without the money. So that happened. But I don't know, with Overwatch, like I like the characters, I like the story of it and stuff. I'm just done with playing the game.
Yeah. I never spent money in League of Legends, or not League of Legends, Jesus. Well, I never spent money there either, but I never spent money in
See, that's the
Hearthstone.
problem. You never got any lit skins, dude.
Yeah, that was my real fucking problem.
Mm-hmm.
But I never spent any money in Hearthstone. I feel like I can never play it now. Like you can't just play that game anymore.
No, you seriously can't. There's such a huge buy-in. I feel like the buy-in for Hearthstone is as bad or worse than any any paper card.
The entire point, or the entire would-be draw of that game would be is that you wouldn't have to.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that when I essentially proved that wasn't true to myself, that's when I quit.
Yeah, like it sucks too, because like when that game first started and like first released, like it was such a really cool thing. It was like it's the only card game I've ever really gotten into.
Right, and that was first and second season were the only ones where you could actually go in free.
Yeah. It's a bummer. Anything else you've been playing, Scott? Sorry, we got derailed there.
All good.
Ni no Kuni.
Where you at, Ni no Kuni?
I got past the pirates then.
Okay.
All right, so you still haven't caught up to me yet.
Yeah.
Nope.
And I haven't played it at all.
I got past the pirates then, and yeah, I did the army session right after that.
You did Arby's?
Army.
Oh yeah, okay. I really like that. There's like that weird, like puzzle-y section that kind of recaps the story of not the first game, I guess.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I don't remember the dragon.
You don't?
I don't.
He was okay. So in the first game, the original quote unquote boss, so to speak, was Oliver from the Ni no Kuni world.
Spoilers, but yes, I remember that. I remember Shadar, which is still
I didn't remember his name.
Yeah, it's still a great name.
I'm pretty sure after that, or right before that, you had to use Morningstar to beat the guy down.
Okay.
And then afterwards was the bait and switch part, which I'm pretty sure they didn't spoil in the thing.
They didn't. No. That might still come up again, the whole White Witch stuff. I don't know.
Right. They didn't do anything with the White Witch stuff, but they did up to Shadar's arc with that.
Which is basically like the arc of that game. Like the White Witch stuff was the stuff that I think they added for the PS3 version, and because it was like a retelling of the DS version of the game. And I don't know. That game's really good. Anyway, I liked all the puzzles stuff that they did there. I thought that was actually really cool.
All
right, fair enough.
Like, listen, Generally, you don't one-shot puzzles. Generally.
Yeah, I mean, like I got all the little orbs and stuff, and that took me a couple of tries for each one, so it wasn't too hard. I guess that's why I liked it. I'm a very simple person.
Simple man.
Simple man with simple needs.
What I'm trying to say is I did all that on my first go through all the puzzles, and I didn't really have to think twice about it.
Okay.
And it's I didn't initially try that hard to think about it.
Okay.
I don't think you should be able to do that essentially by accident.
Yeah, fair enough.
To me, that's not as much fun.
Yeah, it was more of a challenge for me, so I understand that. That's
I think just as much you could have fell into it by accident.
It's true. Maybe if I just didn't think about it, it just followed my heart.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you've been playing, Scott?
No, that's it.
Cool. I played some video games. I played Conquer Live and Reloaded, everyone's favorite Xbox original video game. It was a bunch of stuff. A bunch of Xbox original games just became backwards compatible for the last couple of weeks for Xbox One, and I've been waiting for this one, and they did it. They put it out. That game still looks great. Graphically, it holds up really well. They upscale it a lot for the emulation on Xbox One, so there's a whole lot of anti-aliasing going on, a lot of smooth edges. But regardless, like the fur tech in that game still is pretty good looking. Water looks really good. Things like that. So I don't think it's in 4K or anything like some of the Xbox 360 games will now render in 4K on Xbox One X, like if they've gone back and done some stuff like Gears of War 2 and some things like that, but not the Xbox original games. I do not think. It just looks good, looks sharp. That game is still really great. It's a little bit feels a little bit stiffer than I remember, but a little squirrely.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. That is a very cool version of that game. I know a lot of people don't like that they censored a few more words like shit and twat in that version of the game versus the original Nintendo 64 version, but I don't know. That game is still rad. I also played a hell of a lot more of this God of War here video game that has been out for a week now.
Any idea how far along you are?
I'm very much like right at the end. Because at some point a character is like, "Hey, you should do everything you want to do before you go do this thing, huh?"
You hit the point of no return, huh?
Yeah, so I was like, okay. There's like one last side quest I want to finish up before I kind of go into the end game. But yeah, I don't know. Like I've seen most of what that game has to offer, I think. The thing is, so there's a boss fight pretty early on in that game that's like pretty incredible. Like I think it is one of my favorite moments of video games so far this year. It's just like it's not really like anything I've seen in the game. It's certainly not like a boss fight I've done, and it's not like the cheap thing where it's a bunch of quick time events, which God of War boss fights have done before. It is like a boss fight that you're in it and you're living it, and it feels it feels as intense as it is. As opposed to like it just kind of looks as intense as it is. And nothing I don't think has quite hit the same high as that fight. At least not until much later. Which isn't to say like the things in that game aren't excellent. I think they are, just in like very different ways. Like there's some really great puzzles, or there's some really great environmental storytelling. The whole game is like a single camera shot, right? And there's no cuts to black. There's no cuts at all in the game, visually, which is really cool. A lot of people have been saying that's made it very hard for them to stop playing. I don't think that's been the case for me. But I don't know. It's something I've not seen in a video game before. I don't think it's ever been in a game before. But yeah, like I don't know, like that it starts with such a really incredible high that I don't. It's difficult to ever achieve that again. They kind of revisit that feeling again much later on, but maybe like it seems like the very last act that I haven't gone into yet might be pretty long. So maybe they kind of touch on some more crazy bonkers shit in there. That aside, though, I don't know. It's just like, as you know, God of War, very linear, with very minimal backtracking. You know, the thing about God of War before is it would kind of send you through similar environments. Especially 3 did that a lot more. But typically it would just be still pretty straight shot. You just be doing different things. This is like, you know, you have a hub area. You can backtrack pretty much any time. Nothing is really ever closed off permanently, save for, I guess, like certain rooms that you would maybe have a boss fight in or something like that. So it is very kind of Metroid-like. You get powers and abilities, just backtracking. You can unlock new areas. You can do new missions. There's a lot of side quests that'll introduce totally huge areas that are completely optional, that are really cool. So, you know, it's an open world RPG. But, you know, I would say it doesn't have the same kind of freedom as like a Breath of the Wild that not many games do. It's still kind of like linear pathways and all that, but seeing a lot of that as it goes on, it's still really impressive. And I don't want to say like the game isn't like excellently well made. It's very polished. It feels very good. The combat is very good. There's some stuff that it does about halfway through the game that changes combat a lot. That's really cool, that I kind of expected and kind of didn't expect. But regardless, like, they did it really well, I think. And it's weird that they've retroactively made Kratos a better character. I didn't think that was possible, but I don't know. Like I was saying last week, they don't treat this character like he's a completely different character. They treat it like he was that character, but has to deal with his shit now. Like, he did a bunch of shit and now he's got to deal with it. And the way they do that is like way more interesting than I would have ever thought.
Sure.
So, and a lot of that is like the way he plays off Atreus, which is a bummer because I think Atreus is like a lot less interesting a character. I think he has his really, really good moments, but like I said last week, I don't know, he's not as interesting as I would want him to be. There have been companion characters that have been like way more interesting than him, and that's a bummer. But I don't know. God of War is really good. I think you might dig it, Tony. I don't know if you'll ever get around to playing it, but
yeah, I don't know. I played the previous God of War games, and I wasn't not a fan of them. It's just like,
especially like on a harder difficulty. Like there's an aspect of soulsiness to this game in that like it's very unforgiving, right? Like you have to be on your toes, the tip of your toes, to do stuff, and like managing tons of stuff in combat is really, really fun. I think the combat is the best part of this game, and it's a game full of really good parts. So that's a pretty high compliment. Just feels really good. Throwing that axe, man. It's not the axe throw that feels good. It does feel good, but it's the axe. It's calling the axe back from like anywhere. Just feels fucking good. Especially like you can like two-handed throw the axe and just like stick somebody into a wall. That's pretty good. So I don't know. That game's all right.
Yeah.
People should play God of War. I will probably finish it over the weekend and write a review.
Cool.
Post sometime next week. So
yeah, I'll definitely read your review.
Appreciate it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I played. I've been trying to kind of get through that, so I feel like I haven't touched on all that stuff. Play a little bit of Spelunky. Sometimes I still play that game. I've played something on Xbox, but I can't remember what it was. Also, like they set up a test server for PUBG on Xbox One, which is pretty cool. It's like a separate application that you can download. So the desert map is on that. I haven't played it yet, but I'm curious to check that out. I know both of you aren't like a huge fan of it, right?
The desert map in PUBG?
Yeah.
It's too big.
Yeah, too big. That's what she said.
Right?
That's totally the right response. But yeah, that's all I got. That's all I got. Video games. Good. Video juegos. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we got a little bit of news to talk about. We'll take some questions and we'll make some bets and throughout the show. So we will be back in just a little bit. Choo choo choo.
Choo choo. Oh.
Choo choo.
Choo. Nicole stopped in the chat to say hi. She's at a wedding, I guess. I don't know why you'd stop in a live chat for a video game podcast to say hi. It seems like a waste of time for this show.
Don't you assume things about our show? It's not a waste of time.
It's true. You're right. I have to go pee. I'll be right back, guys.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, she said because I love you. That's sweet.
Aw.
Mike says, I would say Atreus becomes much more interesting character at the end. Well, that's a bummer. Let me see. Question to people watching in the chat. For bets, I'm down 1 Nobishin. So typically if we're down 1, we try and request somebody in the chat to fill the blanks. If anybody wants to, let me know now. And then I'll take your bet. But if not, I'm okay betting alone this week. Is everybody still here? Scott still here?
I'm here.
Okay. Scott's not? Scott, go pee?
No, I'm here. I'm fine.
I'm fine. I don't have to pee.
I'm okay.
Cameron said he will. Thank you, Cameron. Let's
Wait. What did I do to keep it real? I'm confused.
I don't remember. You did it while I was gone, so
What?
maybe it was what you said about like, oh, should you care about the podcast?
Oh yeah, so true.
True. I've been trying with titles, Tony.
Yeah, I saw.
Just saying, I saw you were looking. Just want to make sure you know. Do my best.
I was looking. I was like, someone got this. All right, someone's got this.
Mm-hmm. I didn't realize until about 20 minutes into the show, but I got there. All right. Let's
just assume there to be a phantom Nobishin, but he's actually a sleepy boy right now. So
he's a sleepy boy. It's funny. One time, no, it was during our PAX episode. Nobishin popped up and watched it, and I was like, "All right, Nobishin, you're here. You got to do titles now." He's like, "On my day off," but we ended up just calling it PAX or some dumb shit. All right, let's do this. News in gaming. You guys want to talk about some news?
Yes.
How would you feel, Tony and Scott?
Mm-hmm.
You know, play with me for a minute. Come to my playpen and play with me.
No.
Come, please.
You won't play with me back. I won't do this.
I'll try to play with you back. This was news from last week that maybe we should have talked about. I totally forgot. Rumors came out. Still rumors.
Oh yeah, I did see this.
That Call of Duty Black Ops 4, this year's Call of Duty game.
The rumor come out.
Does Bruno Mars is gay?
No one knows.
No one knows. No, not does Bruno Mars is gay. The Call of Duty Black Ops 4, the Call of Duty game this year. I know y'all are fucking so invested in this franchise. Blah, blah,
oh yeah, so into it.
Sarcasm. Play with me. Call of Duty Black Ops 4 won't have a single player campaign.
I mean, it's fine, I guess. Like, it sucks for the people who wanted that, but like, that's obviously not the game that they've been trying to make anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, multiplayer has always been the thing that sustains those games.
Obviously, the focus. And how long was the campaign in the previous one? Like a couple hours.
Yeah, they're usually between
short,
4
like a
and
short
6 hours.
Campaign, fine. But like, if the team making the game doesn't feel like it's a valuable use of their time, and that the development time and money could be spent to make a better multiplayer product, and that's what they want to do with their game, I think it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of sucked though for the people who would like that and who want to have that single player experience. But I don't know. I feel like Call of Duty has not been about its single player campaign for a very long time.
Yeah, I feel like Modern Warfare 2 is like the last one with the whole no Russia.
Yeah, I think that in the past they've had really good ones. The one that comes to mind is Big Red 1, which I thought was a really good Call of Duty campaign that I played on my Nintendo GameCube.
Hell yeah!
But other than that, yeah, like it's fine. Like, do what you want to do.
2 things. So first, like I'm with you to an extent. I know, like the thing is, the Black Ops games specifically have historically had very, very good campaigns. Black Ops 2, I think, is still might be my favorite Call of Duty campaign, just because it's fucking weird. And Black Ops 3, which I didn't play, I hear is just out there, which is cool. Like, there's a whole lot of going into people's memories and like destroying their memories, because it's like all about mind hacking and shit, which is cool. My question to you, what would you put there in its place?
More and better multiplayer combat content, modes, and support going forward. Like, if you want to make the multiplayer as a model game, you kind of have to do a thing. 2
words for you, Tony. Battle Royale.
No. I mean, I know that that's a thing, and like, I'm not gonna judge it before it happens. But like, and it's fine. Like, every game is going to make Battle Royale because Fortnite is the biggest game in the world.
Yeah.
And it's fine. Like, that's what happens. Like, they started a trend, and now it really didn't start it, but they improved upon a trend and capitalized on it to the point where they've made so much money that it is impossible for bigger companies to ignore it.
Yeah. Just like MMOs and MOBAs up until a point before.
And I think that there's room for that formula to be iterated on and improved. Maybe not, well, I don't know, but yes, improved, but and also to be made differently. I don't think that PUBG and Fortnite have captured both sides of the spectrum and that we're done. So I'm open to it. If it's done well, great. If it's not done well, which is kind of what I expect, then it's oh well, right? Like, they tried to do a thing and didn't work out, but you can blame them for trying.
Yeah, I'd be curious just to see what a Call of Duty Battle Royale mode even looks like.
Yeah,
I'm not. Titanfall better.
I think that the biggest problem that they're going to run into with that is that, like, and I could be wrong about this because I haven't played Call of Duty games in a while, but when I was playing Call of Duty games back in my day, right?
Back in my day,
I played that game because I liked to respawn, shoot at people until I died, and respawn immediately and do it again. So if they are going to take that formula away, and make it so that I have to, spawn in with a bunch of other people, look for guns, and shoot them in a Call of Duty engine, which I think that PUBG is already kind of doing that with like the very more military accurate, like one-shot kills, like, or your shots are more important than, like, this does 25 damage, you have 100 health, right? I think that works better. The PUBG's already doing that, and Call of Duty is. I come to that for like the more twitchy, like respawn, shoot, die, respawn, shoot. Like, I don't know if I would be into playing Call of Duty to play a battle royale version of it where I don't get to do that.
Yeah. Okay.
However, Halo looks like it has promise.
Yeah. Here's the thing: Halo did this whole like war mode in Halo 5. Yes. Where it was like a huge map with 3 teams. It was like 60 plus players, I think. I might be wrong on the player count, but it was like a huge map that had like kind of some level of persistence, and like events would happen in the map that all the different teams had to deal with. And there was like capturing different points, and then you could use them as spawn points. Like, I feel like they have the infrastructure for like a massive scale multiplayer mode. And I think just in general, Halo might be way more interesting with Battle Royale because I like the vehicles have always been a part of Halo. It is like more built into the systems of that game, so I think that could be pretty interesting.
Yeah,
running around and picking up weapons has always been Halo, but to be fair, that was original Call of Duty too.
Yeah, and I feel like Halo has always had like maps really, like their map structure has always been really well regarded. I know some people have some attachment to some Call of Duty maps, but I don't think Nuketown, this very small map, has a good balance for 100 players dropping out of an airplane onto it. So like I don't know, like I think you're right, Scott. Halo has like way more potential to be way more interesting.
Yeah, I just don't like, and I think that's one of the bigger problems with PUBG, and it's not really even a problem. It's just like the way that I want to play the game. But like, I don't want to invest so much time into the setup in order to have an engagement that lasts a half second, and I might not even been a part of really.
Yeah,
and then have to do it again. Like it's just like then I feel like my time was wasted.
Yeah, it's very similar to like a roguelike. You got to balance out the loop. If like every part of it isn't rewarding in its own way, then it's just not going to work.
Then you just chase that end point, and the entire time before that becomes a chore.
Yeah, and I think PUBG, like, it's paced very well in that, like, it's very slow, and I like that. Like, I know that kind of doesn't work for everyone. I feel like it might have worn down on you as well, Tony, but I'm a big fan of that, especially like in duos. But it's a thing to be thinking about. I think like come E3, like we're gonna be looking at a lot of people making their battle royale games. Like a lot of people are already expecting that, and I'm as curious as I am to see like what is Battlefield. There's gonna be a Battlefield game this year, and if it doesn't have like a 60-person free for all multiplayer a la a battle royale, like I'd be fucking absolutely surprised. What is Call of Duty looking at, like, and what if like indie devs, like, what are they thinking as far as doing that? Trying to hop on that bandwagon. So I don't know. Thank you both for playing with me in this.
I don't know. I feel like whenever some big genre like this comes around, everyone, indie developers, big companies, everyone's got to get a piece of the pie. Yeah. So we're kind of in the middle of that right now.
Yeah, we're living it. Get that Fortnite money. Get that Drake money. Apparently, Ninja and Drake played Fortnite again together.
Oh, again?
And I heard this on the Easy Allies podcast. Like, they were playing duos together, and Ninja pulled a win after Drake died pretty early on, and he fucking donated $5,000 to him. It's like, thanks for pulling a W, even though I couldn't pull my weight. What a weird relationship.
And then Ninja's just like, cool, dude, let me add this to this pile of $500,000 that I made this month over Twitch
this month. Like, Jesus. I want to know like where people stand on Ninja.
I watched him.
He did a bad thing.
What did he I think I know what you're talking about. Actually, maybe I don't.
He apparently said a racial slur on a stream.
Oh, I was there for that.
You were there for that? You lived it?
Yeah. It was not. It was not. I mean, unless it happened again, because the first time it didn't really seem like, because it didn't really seem like he said it. I don't know, but he addressed it immediately, like because once chat started like spamming that he said this thing, it's fine. Like, here's the thing: when someone streams a video game, and it's their job, they are live on the internet with no buffer to anything. With thousands, and especially in his case, hundreds of thousands of people waiting, like honestly, jealous individuals waiting for anything to jump down your throat on. So like, it's I don't know, like him saying something like that, like even if it was he said that, like, everyone who cares, right? Like,
I just want to know where the internet's feeling. Like, what's the temperature of Ninja right now?
I don't know. Because as my interest in Fortnite as a game waned, my interest in watching Fortnite streamers did as well. But like, I think that, in my opinion, at least on this, is like, he said a thing, and even if he definitely said it, he immediately addressed it and was like, hey, like, he said he didn't say it, first of all, and then he was like, even if I had, like, I have no hate in my body. Like, this is how I feel about this concept. And I think that, being able to do that and immediately respond to that was the only real good way for a streamer to respond to that kind of situation. So, I don't think that him saying one thing immediately should demonize him as a person.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, hell, like Ryan Davis said a thing on a stream once and like was so apologetic about it, and like, you know, I don't think any less of that man to this day. So.
Exactly.
Here's a question I was actually going to ask earlier, Tony, because I feel like you watch streamers more often than I do.
Every once in a while.
Do you ever watch streams on Mixer?
No, I haven't been on Mixer since in almost like 9 months, I guess. I considered looking at the website again today, only because I was looking at the Darwin project. It was like, you should connect this to your Mixer account. And I was like, what's going on with Mixer?
I was just curious if you had any kind of experience with it.
Let me just go to Mixer.com. This is still Mixer. There's Fortnite on the front page.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to think of Mixer because like I don't know if it's one of those things of like, hey, let's say I'm a new streamer, like should I start on Mixer because it feels like it's easier to kind of create a following there because there aren't as many established people there, or should I go to Twitch because it's obviously the top dog? Or
yeah, I don't like. I think that a lot of streaming is being in the right place at the right time. And having putting in the work for no money and a lot of being consistent and like doing something that is going to be boring and uninteractive for a long time in order to build yourself an audience. Because like when you're streaming, you're performing the entire time, right? So you have to, it's easier, I think, to do that when you have an audience that is watching you than when a new streamer starts out and is streaming for 0 people or like 1 or to 5 people for hours. Yeah. You have to constantly be for those 5 people at the top of your game and put in so much more effort to create that content than, like a lot of the more popular streamers, you'll watch them and either they don't interact with their chat at all because it's impossible because there's so many people watching, or they interact only with people who are donating to them and then they'll read those donations and respond to them. Or if you're watching the lesser popular people, they will read their chat and respond to the people in their chat. Then if you watch people who have like 0 to 5 streamers or viewers or whatever, they'll respond to every single person who writes in chat. Yeah. But a lot of it's just like, hey, I am currently playing the game, right? But like, I think that it's hard to start streaming because you have to, like I said, you have to spend a lot of time building that audience and then put yourself in the situation to be in the right place at the right time. Because if you look at Ninja, for example, he's a good example because this just recently happened to him. He spent years streaming for a small audience of like 100 to 500 people. And then he grew in the months before Fortnite up from 500 to about like 5,000-ish people at most. And then he started getting popular at Fortnite, and then he's exploded over the past like 3 months into concurrent like 400,000 or whatever.
Yeah.
Or whatever he's doing now. So it's a huge rapid growth specifically because he was there. And I think that his viewership will obviously go back down once Fortnite is less of a trend, and people know who he is now. So like his career going forward for as long as it lasts will be easy for him to kind of maintain that. And, he no longer has to put in that effort of, reading every single thing in chat because it won't be possible to do that.
Yeah.
So I think to kind of circle back around to the main question, I think it's easier to start on the platform where more people are more likely to watch you.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a crapshoot whether you think that the answer to that solution is Twitch, where people are always watching the top 20 streamers or whatever, and it's very difficult to make yourself stand out from the hundreds and hundreds of people who are streaming to 1 to 0 to 2 viewers.
Yeah.
Griffin and I did that a lot when he first started streaming, where like he'd start streaming and I'd just like on my laptop, on my computer or whatever, just open the stream to try and get him some exposure.
Yeah.
I think that getting that initial 25 plus viewers is the hardest part consistently. So if you then look at Mixer, your competition is much less, but also the viewership is much less. So I think that it's kind of the same on 2 different scales. It's just you're taking a gamble with Mixer eventually becoming as big or bigger than Twitch, or at least comparable, which it is not right now.
Yeah.
Like the top Fortnite streamer has, let's see, because he's right here. let's see. Fortnite top streamer has 519 viewers.
That's you know.
Oh no, he's actually just the first on the list. And that guy next to him is 804.
804.
So, yeah, and at the same time, if I go to Twitch.tv and then look at, browse for Fortnite, top streamer has 73,000.
Boy, that is a big difference.
It's just like it's an order of magnitude. No, it's Ninja's not online, so it's Dr. Lupo, and then Summit1G, who is the most. Honestly, he's I think one of the best streamers, but we don't need to get into a whole conversation about why I think that. It's just because he's consistently been a popular variety streamer who is successful in any game he ever plays. But he's right behind with 20,000. I think that it's easy for a lot of those people to maintain huge numbers and make a lot of money that way. The problem is it takes such a huge financial risk and investment in order to try and take that chance to be that consistent streamer that people can tune into and watch and give your 100% to it all the time in order to make it a full-time thing. So I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at with it. I think that both of them have their ups and downs, and it's kind of up to the streamer to decide, what am I actually able to do, and what, with that, what it would be the best platform for me to take advantage of that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. That's a good in-depth answer. Our boy, friend of the show, Joe Roofler Ruffles on Mixer.
Yeah, I think that he's doing well on Mixer as well. So
that's his full-time job now. So he's getting by, and I know I'm happy for him. He's happy with his audience there.
Yeah,
he's live right now. I was just checking him out. Just see
that's the thing, man. Like, people look at streamers and they're like, and I know a lot of people have said this before, but people look at streamers and they're like, man, that's such an easy job. Like, I can just hang out and play video games all the time. But like, when you actually try and do that, you are performing. You are at 110% energy all the time, and you also have to work like 80 hours a week.
Yeah, dude, it is not easy.
So,
transitioning back to the news, just a couple of things want to throw out there. The free games of your whatever service you subscribe to, PlayStation Plus or Xbox Live Gold, were announced for next month. I just, anytime we get the opportunity, falls in line with our week's show, I like to throw them out there. For PS Plus, it's going to be on PS4 is Beyond Two Souls, King Oddball, and Rayman Legends. 2 games in there that I really like. I've never heard of King Oddball. I don't know if y'all are secret King Oddball fans. Maybe it's like a pinball game, apparently it might be, which is fine. Maybe not. Maybe I just made that up. Regardless, that is kind of like the main stuff. There's the PS3 Vita games as well. King Oddball apparently cross-buy with Vita, and on Xbox Live Gold, just throw it out there again. Beyond Two Souls, I think is pretty cool. I like that game. A lot of people don't. That's fine. Rayman Legends is, I think, objectively pretty great. It's very fun. On Xbox One, which is cool. You get 2 360 games that are always backwards compatible with Xbox One, as well as the 2 Xbox One games. Those games are Super Mega Baseball and Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain, which is pretty big get. And then the 360 games are Streets of Rage, which will be available for the first half of the month, and then Vanquish from Platinum Games is the second half of the month. Maybe I'll actually play Vanquish now because a lot of people really love that game. But yeah, that's really good. Metal Gear Solid 5, very good video game. I would recommend it if you like action games.
My PlayStation Plus subscription ran out. I haven't had a reason to renew it yet. So.
Not yet, man. Destiny 2 expansion next month. Let's go.
Okay.
Man, I'll play with you. I'll get to 3010.
3010. 3010 light.
3010 light. Whatever it takes, Teddy. Get you back in.
I think even if I were to play Destiny, it would be on PC.
Yeah,
there's just no reason for me not to.
I know. I just miss you, okay?
Yeah, it's just like I want to, trust me, I want to, right? Like I want to play these video games and stuff, but like there's not something on PS4 that is worth me spending $50 for the next year of online.
$60.
$60.
So they fucking raised the price on us. See, Amazon's fucking raising the price of Prime again.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, they're going from 100 to 120. Jesus, man.
For like my experience with Amazon Prime is always like I need to buy a thing, and then last year was the Switch for me, which you know how that worked out. But I buy like a year subscription of Amazon Prime, and then a year later I'm like, oh, this renewed, and then I contact Amazon, have them cancel and refund it until I need it again.
That's Fair. That is the accurate way to use Amazon. I don't know, fucking $10 a month. Like,
yeah, and then you're also like consenting for them to spam you with an email every 10 minutes, like, hey, by the way, did you know that we also have a Netflix of like service?
Yeah.
And you're not using it, please.
Why don't you use it? And you're like, I just want to get the most value out of this. And they're like, we know, take this Amazon Music and Amazon
then
Video.
You go look at it and you're like pay-per-viewing all of these movies that you actually want to watch, and everything else is free.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it's just like, wow, okay, great.
Some Nintendo news came out this week. Everybody loves Nintendo. Speaking of the Nintendo Switch, they put out a couple of press emails this week, and they might have done some calls. The Nintendo president, the kind of interim president that has been around since, I guess 2 years ago or last year, Kimishima is going to be stepping down as the president in June. He was always kind of planned to be the interim president, but he did a very good job launching the Switch and being around for that. The person stepping up for him, let me see if I can find his name, he was the president, I think CEO of the Pokemon company. Yes. He was the outside director of the Pokemon company. He's a little bit younger than Kimishima. Shuntaro Furukawa, which makes sense. I mean, Pokemon Company, I don't know if that's like a complete subsidiary of Nintendo. I don't think it quite is, but obviously partner company. He's 46, so he's kind of around the age. Like, Nintendo specifically cited, like, hey, we kind of wanted our president and leadership to be a little bit younger, to kind of stay in line with the audience that we're appealing to right now, which makes sense. He did put these. If he could run the Pokemon Company, which is one of the most successful video game franchises of all time, I'm sure he'll probably be fine. But they announced a few things. First and foremost, they said they were going to be announcing or unveiling what their online service is in early May, so probably within the next 2 weeks, which is exciting. They're still kind of on plan to launch that in September. The pricing is still going to be $4 for 1 month, $8 for 3 months, and $20 for a year subscription. Significantly cheaper than the competition, and that kind of lines up with everything we know up till now. And I don't know, it's going to be good to finally know what that actual online service is, and if it will be worth it, if Nintendo's just making terrible mistakes.
Sure.
Kind of back to their old ways. And then also they announced kind of their E3 plans, which is in line with the things they've done over the last couple of years. They're going to be doing a pre-recorded video of their E3 briefing on June 12th at 9 a.m. Pacific time. So that's it's going to be that Tuesday just before the show floor of E3 opens. It'll probably be about an hour long. It's going to be a Nintendo Direct style thing, and it will be focusing only on games releasing through the end of 2018, is what they said.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are looking or expecting games coming out next year, then they will probably not be talked about in this year's briefing, which is interesting. Like, for example, last year they announced Metroid Prime, which I'm pretty confident is probably not coming out this year. Metroid Prime 4. The Pokemon game for Switch, which I don't think is coming out this year. There's some people still believe it is, et cetera, things like that. So they did specifically say, hey, this includes Super Smash Brothers for Nintendo Switch, which a lot of people are excited about. They announced that as 2018. They're sticking with it. That'll probably be a big part of their press conference or briefing, whatever they call them. But, that could include Pokemon. That'll likely include Fire Emblem, which they said would be coming this year. So, but that's about all we know about that. They're also going to be doing their kind of standard Treehouse live stream, which they've done for the last couple of years as well. So, all exciting.
Yeah.
Video games. E3's coming up, man. That's like fucking a month and a week away, which is kind of crazy. We're probably going to all get together and watch E3 together.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. You won't be like a million miles away this year, Tony.
Only like 500,000.
But NATO Johnston will not be here.
True.
So it'll be different all around. It won't be quite be the same. It'll be fun.
It'll be slightly worse.
No, I mean, I miss NATO, but I miss you too. Just because I don't leave my house and I don't want to see anyone ever doesn't mean I don't miss you, Tony.
I mean, that's fair.
Just means I live in my own purgatory.
I live in a prison of my own design.
Yeah, a prison of self-hate and stuff. Mm-hmm. Anyway, that's it for news. Y'all want to take a peek at the mail sack?
Let's do it.
Let me get some appropriate question reading music going. Here we go. That's what Daddy likes. You can tweet your questions. It's probably the best way to get your question on the show. Tweet them at IrrationalPod. Use the hashtag IPQ. We'll read them. Nicole at NMH2105 says, in Baltimore for a wedding this weekend. What's to know about the city?
Stay out of it.
Yeah, just don't go there. Actually, that's what I was gonna say. So,
yeah.
Which city was the question?
Baltimore.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, just don't do it. Scott, when was the last time you went to Baltimore?
I only go to Baltimore when we go to the one sandwich shop.
Oh yeah, go to Chaps.
I only go to Baltimore when you take me to Chaps.
I'm due
very
for
specifically you visit. Taking me to Chaps.
Yeah, true. I'm due for a Chaps.
For reference, nobody else is allowed to take me to Chaps.
Fair enough. And Tony would be allowed to take you. Y'all have been there together. Okay. I would say, hey, you should probably go to Chaps. It is a pit beef place in Baltimore.
And then you should leave.
Yeah.
That's the only thing in Baltimore worth going to.
Yeah. I like my favorite restaurant is in Baltimore. Nicole, I don't know if you're in the city with your wife. It might be a nice place to go get a nice sit down dinner. It's called the Woodbury Kitchen. I went there for a birthday dinner a couple weeks ago. It's very good. I love it. Like they have a different menu every day. All locally sourced stuff, very ritzy. It's a little pricey. It's not like ungodly, but it is a little bit pricey. You're looking at like $20+ for an entree. So it is definitely going to be like a more upscale-ish place. So those are the only two things I would recommend in Baltimore. The thing I hate is like, anytime anyone's like, oh yeah, Alex, they always, or any of us, I think like they always like, yeah, they're in Baltimore, Maryland. It's like, no, I'm like 30 minutes outside the city, and I'm very, very appreciative of it every day of my life. Baltimore is it's a little scummy. There are good parts of Baltimore, like the Inner Harbor and stuff, but if you want to walk around a place,
they're far and few between.
Yeah, it's like the Inner Harbor.
To put it this way, there are a bunch of no stop zones in Baltimore where they clearly have red lights.
Yeah, and nobody stops. Or nobody doesn't stop. Everyone just drives right through that shit. I hate driving in Baltimore with a passion. Like I've driven in New York City and I had better time than driving in Baltimore. So yeah, I don't know. Spend as little time in Baltimore as you can. Go to like Annapolis or other places that are way cooler. Michael Ruiz at super_Ruse ROZ says, when you are in an arcade, what is the first game you search for? It's a good question because very, very infrequently I think any of us are in an arcade. I would say like I always look for when I was younger, I would always looking for like Simpsons arcade or Ninja Turtles arcade machine because those are like 4-player games or 2-player games, and I'd usually be with a friend. So back in the days when I would go to a laser tag joint called Shadowland,
I've been there.
We've all been there for sure. We should go back just as adults.
Hey, I feel like we should. 45. We want to shoot.
I feel like
we really should.
We probably shouldn't. They used to have like arcade machines there, and
just like some kid come around the corner and just check him into the wall.
Fucking bump him with the butt of the gun. They had a Ninja Turtles arcade machine that I always go play. Now, like if I go to like a Dave and Buster's situation, Mario Kart arcade is fun. I like the Pac-Man Versus machine, like the big multiplayer Pac-Man game.
Mhm.
And I always love like the Jurassic Park or like Evil Dead, whatever brand it is, like those little shooter games that you like go in the little bunker for, and you like close the curtains, and really you're just in there fucking.
Yeah.
I always love this. Me and my brother would always play those, and those would be fun. They're scary.
Mhm.
What about you, Tony?
For me, I think at least in the most recent time, like, and it's not recent, but like the last time I was ever looking like in an arcade, I was looking for those like arcades who had the Guitar Hero setup.
Ooh, yeah.
Because I would destroy their leaderboards.
Hell yeah, dude.
That's basically like that was my most recent one, but before that would be DDR. Always DDR.
Always DDR. Is that yours, Scott? No.
Probably.
Yeah, I feel like you're a DDR fiend. So.
Used to be. I haven't played in the longest time.
Yeah.
Those pads broke so much.
Yeah, that could be a fun extra life then.
Do we have it?
No, we'd have to like get it. We'd have to put that together.
There was a time long ago where I considered buying like one of those home metal pads for DDR.
No. They don't have the X button. Can't do that.
I don't know. I was like, I hated the mats. So
yeah, a lot of people don't like the mats.
The mats aren't good.
They break very easily in my experience.
It's not just that they break. It's that they slide. No matter what.
You'd have to like nail that shit down.
It's on carpet and it slides a little bit and you're like, okay, maybe carpet doesn't work. You put it on either wood or tile floor. It's 10 times worse. You're like, that makes sense. And then you put it on another rubber mat and that rips it half.
Yeah.
And then you're just upset.
Yeah. I see, like, I wish I could have gone to arcades in like the 80s. Only because, like, or like have a place that you could go. Just, man, I would love to have been able to experience like Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter in an arcade, like with people to play.
Sure.
I've never even seen either of those machines. I might have seen like a Street Fighter machine just passively in like someone's kind of personal collection, but that's so cool. Like I'd love that. I will say I also like arcade machines that I've loved in the past. Like I love Donkey Kong. If I were to get an arcade machine personally, I would want to get a Donkey Kong machine.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably my favorite arcade game, and I like the Mario Brothers arcade machine. Not Super Mario Brothers, Mario Brothers. Joseph Fate at Aces High 291, who used to be a host of this podcast. Yeah, I just want to say,
once upon a time,
says, "Where's Hudson been? You didn't kill the mascot, did you?" And he's talking about our cover arts, which I make every week. Yep. Sometimes, I'm just making it very quickly. I forget about Hudson. Other times,
he sneaks in there.
He just sneaks in there. He'll have his moment.
Yeah,
he'll be back.
He'll see his day in the sun.
Yeah. Hudson the Horstachio is very important to the lore of this podcast.
It's very true.
And JC Ramirez at Silver, not PR, Silver NY. Well, he's still at Silver PR, but he's now colloquially known as Silver NY because he's in New York now.
Good. I'm glad that stuck.
Yeah. He asks, what's been your favorite video game mechanic in the last two console generations? Just a quick reminder. That is a long time. Maybe we could narrow that, but he says just a reminder that Overwatch League's NYXL is the best in the world. I don't know. I'm not into Overwatch League, but okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cameron Abbott out there is like rooting or booing, one of the two. Let's say this most recent console generation, so long since 2013, like a new video game mechanic. What's been your favorite? That's a tough fucking question.
It is a tough question.
I'm trying to rack my brain. Like, I don't know. Like, I would say like Zelda's kind of climb anything mechanic is really cool. The difficult thing about calling that a favorite is like that doesn't work for every game. Like, you can't just take that out of that game and put it in every other fucking video game.
I think that a lot of the answers for this will be that way, though.
Yeah, true. It works very well in that video game.
I mean, My favorite mechanic to come out of this generation is definitely the Nemesis one.
Ooh, yeah, Nemesis system's really good.
That is a good one.
Yeah, because that could be used for things other than combat.
Yes,
and it has been, but to a shallow degree in its own game.
Yeah,
it can be used to do so much more.
You were probably gone for when I was talking about it, Tony. I got back into XCOM, the XCOM games, because of the fucking Exquisite Core Giant Bomb series.
Sure.
And I got the XCOM 2 expansion, and that kind of has a Nemesis system mechanic in it. It's really cool. They're like boss enemies that will sometimes randomly show up in missions if you're in their area. And like depending on how you fight them, they might gain or lose certain aspects of their abilities, and they'll evolve as your team evolves. It's pretty cool.
I was talking more along the lines of the other things recognizing you,
and like responding to you and having personalities based on that.
Yep.
Yeah. They do a little bit of that, not to a lesser extent because they're like set characters.
They did much more, but again, not a whole lot of it in Shadows of Mordor.
Yeah, it is because like having just like nameless orcs as an antagonist could have been like super boring, and they incorporated something that made it actually really interesting and cool.
Right, and I feel like that is a system that could be rooted and put into a game, like even let's say a Zelda game, where
like a Boko Blin fucking sees you. It's like, I know you. He's got like a personality. He's got like a name and everything. He's like, fuck Link, and you're like, whoa, it's cursing.
If it were more like Breath of the Wild, yeah. If there's anything that you let go or that gets away.
Or like maybe if you like dropped a weapon near him, he uses that weapon next time you fight him, stuff like that. Yeah, there's a lot of potential for that to be really cool. I would say like for me, like multiplayer has been such a huge part of my gaming for like this generation. Like, what would you say like Destiny's like? I guess like video game end games that are way more consumable or approachable. Like Destiny is kind of like end game loot and leveling and stuff, like item leveling. Like I've gotten way into. I know that's not necessarily a new mechanic to the grand scheme of video games. It's been in MMOs for years, but
and it's not even a very approachable one either.
Yeah,
like in context, the reason the ones that are quote unquote approachable in the Destiny's aspect is the reason they're not popular is simply because they don't last.
Yeah,
people play them, they finish them, and they leave.
There have been
kind of what happens to Destiny. The big thing that Destiny has going for it is that it's an actual first-person shooter game in true MMO form.
Yeah, I would say like maybe the incorporation of MMO mechanics into games that I like, or kinds of games that I like, has been really good for me. And like there is less walls up around mechanics across different genres, right? Like you could take that same mechanic and put it into like a tactics game now. I feel like somebody could have that idea and make it happen.
Yeah, it's happened.
Just like they've done for a first person
it's
shooter.
Happened.
So yeah, and I think
I looked into a game that did that.
That sounds all right.
I don't remember the name of it.
All right. Do you got one, Tony?
As crazy as this sounds, and I don't know if this is actually the answer for me.
Okay.
But I think one of the ones that really stands out to me and it's not even a good mechanic, it's just a mechanic that I like, is the enhancement mechanic in Black Desert.
Okay.
And it's so disgustingly so disgustingly against the player. It's just, I don't know. I enjoy that. I enjoy being able to submit myself to that kind of torture.
Okay.
Well,
that's the only way for me to word it.
The best thing that it has going for it is it's so disgustingly against the player in a way that keeps players in line with other players.
Yeah.
So
level that playing field.
Although it is technically possible for somebody to have a lot more than you in the game, it is so unlikely that you'll it is so unlikely that they'll get so far ahead of the rest of the people playing. So you don't really have somebody who's hard capped.
I'll say this too.
That person hasn't happened yet.
Another one to throw out there, Titanfall, like the actual mechanic of Titanfall, like calling a Titan in and jumping into it, it's pretty good. It's a really good idea. I'm glad somebody thought of it. But those are all the questions we have. Thank you everybody who sent a question in. Yeah. You can also email mailsack@irrationalpassions.com or leave a voicemail 404-590-1337. We'll get to it on the show. But now, I guess real quick, if you like the show, follow it on Twitter @IrrationalPod. Rate and review us on iTunes. Go check out the other shows that we have, like Input Video Game News Show and Get Acquainted, my one-on-one interview show, and IrrationalPassions.com. There's a bunch of really cool stuff up there, like features, reviews, columns, tons of cool stuff. But now all that's done, it's time for bets.
Bet!
Now, Tony, are you familiar with memes now?
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
What do we you guys are currently Team Zuck, which is okay for now.
Okay with Zuck for now.
Yeah. So
can we
what's up
for posterity? Can we make the album or the art for this the cover art for this episode of the show just like Mark Zuckerberg's cold stare
with a horstachio like lapel pin, maybe?
Well, I don't know if there's a good picture of him just staring at a camera with also wearing a suit, but if you can make that happen, that'd be pretty cool. But I meant just like the album art is just like his section from the top, from right above his brow down to halfway down his nose. Just the eyes.
Just the eyes. Just a very enlarged picture of his eyes.
Yeah.
I'll see what I can do. I'll try. This week's bet. I'm two teams, right? Me and Option, Tony and Scott. Cameron will be filling in for an Option from our live chat right now. This week's bet: how many words will be in the top YouTube comment on the launch trailer for Donkey Kong Country Returns: Tropical Freeze for the Nintendo Switch on YouTube? How many words? I thought about making it like how many times will Funky Kong be said, but I decided not to. I just really like Funky Kong. You know what? I changed mine last minute. I changed my mind. When you're ready.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah?
Can you repeat the bet?
How many words will be in the top YouTube comment for the launch trailer of Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze for the Switch?
Okay, it's one of those. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we spice it up a little bit?
What do you got?
They have to include Funky Kong in order for it to count.
Okay, so like the top comment that says Funky Kong, that has Funky Kong in it. Okay, yeah, I like that. I like that a lot, Scott.
Did it.
Oh man, Scott, I hope you're right.
It includes Funky Kong. How would it not belong?
Yeah, some like weird small fan fiction about Funky Kong. So I bet 7, which I should have changed my bet, but I'll stick with it. Scott bet 60, and Tony bet 8. So really, assuming Cameron does not bet below 7, like it's 8 or above, and y'all win. Okay, Cameron bet 13. So there you go. I like that. Last week's bet, a nice simple one. What will the open critic score for Galgun 2 be? Which remember Galgun 2 came out?
Yeah.
I like to think of Galgun 2 as the voice of a generation.
It's obviously that. What did I bet again?
You bet 65.
Oh, gotcha.
Scott bet 50. Namisha bet 0. I bet 53. Not a lot of optimism for Galgun 2, but the actual answer is 63.
Hey,
which means Tony got it. Which is impressive. Your optimism paid off.
So here's the thing, right? Like, people will not like this game, but way more people will like this game for a very interesting reason.
Very specific reason. I'm curious what the most positive review is, just like out of just generally.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Digitally downloaded. Let's see. It looks like it's from digitally downloaded. They gave it a 10 out of 10.
Oof. All right.
Let me. I want to read the score synopsis. I guess they gave it 5 stars. 5 out of 5 stars, which is a little bit different. Said it's from Matt Sainsbury over at digitally downloaded .com or .net. Is it? Oh, it's a .net. Yeah, you know they mean business. Mm-hmm. Oh, I've read these guys before. I don't know how I feel about digitally downloaded .net. I'm gonna let y'all know. They gave Dynasty Warriors 9 a 10 out of 10 as well. So take this with a grain of salt. But he says, you may well find Galgun 2 to be offensive and intolerable, but that's all the more reason to experience it and discuss it.
Oh.
And because it's backed by a really good light gun experience that is bigger and, on balance, better than its predecessor. This game is one of the most playable and interesting transgressive franchises the Japanese industry has ever produced.
All right.
Man, I feel like he might be giving a little bit too much credit, but who knows?
He's probably giving you an extreme amount of credit.
Especially looking at the screenshots in this review. There's a whole lot going on. There is one of a girl laying on her front on a couch on a futon, and a reticle is aimed directly through her skirt at her privates. It's one
Sounds
of the
like the kind of game Jeff Gerstmann should play.
Pull the trigger.
Pull the trigger, I guess. Well, thanks, Matt.
Give Chiru a massage.
That brings the team totals up to Team Zuck rocking hard at 5 points.
You age rating violating ruffian.
Okay. And Team Nanashi still going at 9 points.
Wait, I just got a point, right?
Yeah, you guys are at 5 now, and we're at 9.
Okay, got it.
We did not change. Tony, that means you've won Danny Juarez's love and respect until it's up for grabs next week. But more importantly, you've won the rights to reiterate or disagree with anything that you did throughout the show. You have the last word with no disagreements. Do you have anything you want to say?
Nope.
We were all right. Everybody was right and in agreement this week.
Yep.
There you go. Something about Mixer. I don't know. Thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for tuning in live. If you tuned in live, or just turn on your podcast service and giving us a good old fashioned listen. Thank you to Danny Wiesner for opening music of 2-player co-op and our closing music of The World is Saved. Wherever you are out there, Danny, with your like 12 kids or whatever. He's only got 2 kids. Hope you're having a good day. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Scott, for joining me. As always, love you guys. Big hugs all the way around. I've been your host, Alex O'Neill. Play your game, stay rational. We'll talk to you all next week.
Choo choo choo.
Choo choo. No, that's a different break.
Titles?
Titles. There you go.
Oh, we got there. Let's see. We got She KS'd you, brah. Bush tactics are back. Teach Alex how to jungle. Brooding league characters with dark pasts. And Zuckerberg's cold stare.
You can tell I was paying a lot of attention during the League of Legends talk.
Mm-hmm.
What do you like, Tony?
I like they're all okay. No standouts though.
I mean, you got to pick one is the thing. That's how this works. This is like a voting situation.
What if we just didn't have a title?
I mean, that'd be pretty fucked up.
Be a little fucked up.
Maybe what if the title is we didn't have a title?
Didn't we do that already? Or did we took that out like a couple of years ago?
Yeah, we probably did that. Fuck. We didn't have a title 2. This time it's personal. Scott, what do you like? Scott's like, let me open the Google.
Yeah. Scroll down because I haven't been listening.
Oh, he's got to get in the thing altogether.
Yeah, hold on.
I can post a link for you. I'm looking out.
They like to make this difficult.
Yeah, I know. You're into that hardcore life. That's the sound of scrolling. It's very strange.
Yeah, I think we'll go with teach Alex how to jungle.
I like that one too.
Okay. It means we have to do it though.
It's very self-involved. I can say the episode number.
Scott, you got this.
You're listening to Irrational Passions Podcast, episode 376.
Teach Alex how to jungle.
Am I doing it?
Bush tactics are back.
You can stop recording now. Thanks everybody for watching. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.